Now we're in the process of transitioning from winning a Big Ten championship, which we're certainly proud of. That was certainly a goal going into this year, and to be able to hang another banner in there is in the field house was certainly something that was really important to us in the toughest conference in our sport, and so we're excited to be able to complete that and then transition to the NCAA tournament. And it was exciting last night seeing what the draw is, and we'll get after practice this evening and learning our opponents and seeing what kind of run we can make.
Dennis?
First thing that jumps out at me about Illinois State is they beat Illinois and they took Marquette to 5. I think lost in extra points in the 5th. So it seemed like, I don't know how much you've had to learn since last night about them, but what's your take about them and the biggest challenges you see that jump right out at you?
Yeah, it's unfortunately it's one of the tougher things with our sport is that there is kind of an unevenness to the bracket, and but on the other hand, with that said, I don't think you're ever looking at for gifts or anything else like that. My point is sometimes when you're a seeded team and that first round opponent, if you're kind of looking at it like the NCAA basketball tournament where the entire field is seeded, you sit there and say, well, there are some big disparities between the two teams. Illinois State they're legit. We saw them last year. They jumped on us in the first set, and it was a battle earlier. Like you said, they had some really nice wins, and then I think they were battling with some health issues for a good portion of the season, and they were kind of having some pieces move around. They've got some freshmen that are getting some time in there, but you can kind of see once they started getting the pieces back in the past, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks or so, they haven't lost since then. And they didn't just go in the tournament and won. They hammered some really good teams there, and they've got a really nice setter that is active offensively. They've got a middle that is a beast. Their outsides are really good. There are some issues there that you've got to be able to be ready for and handle.
John?
There was a question up until the selection show last night whether or not your team would be a top 4 seed. Yeah. You got the top 4 seed. So 2 parts. What was your reaction, though, when you found out you got that number 4 seed? And how much of an advantage is it to be able to host these matches at the Fieldhouse, hopefully all the way up until the Final Four? We felt pretty good, obviously, that we would be a seeded team and be able to host the first 2 weekends. And, and so you're guaranteed a match here in the Fieldhouse. If you make it to the second weekend, would you rather be at home than on the road? Absolutely. But regardless, you're playing the Sweet 16 or regional final. Those are some really, you got to play good volleyball no matter where you're at. And, but with that said, those top 4 seeds don't really mean anything for a while. It's we're guaranteed 1 match. And you've got to play well. You've got to win to advance to play a second match. And so you're a third of the way through the tournament before even that top 4 seed really kind of has any impact at all. But I think one of the things that you're excited about as a possibility is that this fan base is incredible. It's you're selling out to every match for 4 years in a row, and people waiting in line 3.5, 4 hours before. The passion is high here, and even though that we could be going up against some pretty big time sporting events this weekend, we'll still pack the place, and to be able to bring high quality matches, in the NCAA tournament in the Fieldhouse is special. So yeah, we're certainly excited about it. It's certainly something that you're trying to do. That's one of the reasons why we schedule the way that we do at a conference. This was I think the second toughest schedule in the country. And our out-of-conference schedule was nothing to sneeze at. It's to put you in a position to get one of those seeds. So yeah, we'd rather have them than not.
Anything else for Kelly? Dennis?
A lot of kids who get a lot of attention, and there'll be some awards coming their ways. And Madison Dwello's been around here longer than any of them. She might get kind of overlooked at times. I know she's been battling a lot of injuries this year. And she seems like she's come on over the last portion of the season and getting back to herself. What's your appreciation for what she brings to your team and where her game is right now heading into the last stretch here?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. Injuries are kind of part of athletics, and, this past weekend we had 2 kids that missed the entire week of practice going into it, and another kid that was, throwing up in the locker room right before the match. And you're just, but, we're certainly not the only team that is kind of dealing with that kind of stuff, especially this time of year. Madison, one of those that was, playing a good portion of the season with some tears in her abs. And I've never experienced that. That just sounds not fun, especially when you're up there twisted and swinging and, tightening up when you're getting up there and blocking some bangers in our conference. And but the past few weeks, she's gotten to be, I mean, she's 100%, and I think her game has gotten a lot better since then. Or, we're going to her a lot more than what we were there for a while. We were trying to just kind of find a way through some of those matches, and she didn't want to leave the lineup. Her blocking's gotten a lot better, but I think one of the best things she brings is a leadership, and her leadership style is a little bit different from some of the others. But after our Penn State match the next day, it's her and Sarah Dodd that were in front of the team and addressing them and trying to make that transition to move forward. There's a maturity with Madison that without her we wouldn't be quite the same team, and that's beyond the number of kills and blocks that she gives us.
George?
What's this time of year like that you come off the pressure and the high of, clinching that Big Ten title, and now you got to turn around right away and get ready for the national tournament?
No, it was a fun locker room. When after the match, it was a fun plane trip home. I'm sure it was. They had a good time yesterday. It's along with trying to get ahead of school and trying to get healthy and all those other things, but. This is the team that's. I mean, they've got big goals. They're trying to accomplish some epic things, and I think there's a maturity about this that once you get, you could see they were excited for the selection show, and then you could see by the faces as they were leaving that it was starting to get their NCAA tournament face, whatever the heck that means, on. But you could see that there's a switch, and that comes with maturity. And so I think, you get the confidence that winning a Big Ten championship, brings to you, getting through that gnarly gauntlet. And, but as you go through this week, you start switching over and you get locked into what's in front of you, and you've got pretty good opponents that are also confident and have won a lot, and they've got big goals, and that they're going to demand your attention, and I think our team has been through enough to know that.